Hello and welcome back to Spekd. Today we're going to be looking at the first 30 issues of the Warhammer Conquest magazine and taking an overall look at the armies that we have collected together so far. To start us off, we have 3 Primaries Intercessors for the first issue of Warhammer Conquest. It was priced at $2.99 and these models were actually quite fun to build and were my first set of Primaries Space Marines. I chose to paint them up as Blood Angels, and that was the shape of the army to come. Next, issue number 2. It was a Death Guard issue. It had 3 Plague Marines. Now, again, this was the first time I ever encountered Plague Marines, and these guys were so much fun to paint. You could be kind of messy and it still worked, and I can see why Games Workshop chose Death Guard as the opposing army. Warhammer Conquest number 3. I lovingly refer to Reavers as Space Ninjas. Getting these and getting a real close look at them was, quite surprising and fun to see the detail. They are missing the anti-grav chutes, I think they're called. But other than that, they're really nice models. On to the Poxwalkers for Warhammer Conquest issue number 4. We had 6 Poxwalkers, and again this was the first time I encountered them. If you was painting along with the magazine, there wouldn't be much variation in the way of colours, so you will have to step outside that initial start. Magazine number 5, we got ourselves a limited edition Lieutenant. It was intended for the Space Marines, Ultramarines, but I used him for my Blood Angels Lieutenant. I did originally have a Vexilla with him on his model, but it just kept on coming off. It's a very strong model, was interesting, and I believe I gave one of these as a giveaway. Issue number 6, more Plague Marines. A lot of people actually got upset with this issue, as it seemed to be a direct repeat right away. There was some concern as to why didn't they just utilise the other models from the set, from where they were taken, but I didn't mind too much. It gave me an opportunity to, modify angles of position in the bodies and also paint them in a slightly different Legion colour. Warhammer Conquest issue number 8, we got ourselves a Primaries Psyker. The Primaries Psyker was intended to be used in the blue colours, but I decided just to change him over to Death Watch. I thought it was a lot better. The simple black colours worked really well, and then giving him that arm guard, shoulder pauldron was better. Number 9, back with more Poxwalkers. I used a variation here of mixing heads, changing arm poses apart from the big guy. I mean, you can super glue his arm down to keep that pose in one place, but again, it's just a repeat. Issue number 10, the Malefic Whitehall. I absolutely loved this model. I did lose a few spikes over time of hiding it and usage, but my goodness, I was so excited to get my hands on this and really happy to see magazine. One of the better magazines. Issue number 11. What can I say? 3 Primaries Aggressors. Absolutely fantastic. I had so much fun with these. Flame effects just pulled it through. Yeah, more of these please. More of these. Warhammer Conquest issue number 12. We got ourselves a Foul Blight Spawn. Or should I say Foul Blight Spawn even. Getting a bit tongue-tied. This was another really nice model, and I've kind of got the idea at this point to change the overall colour of my Plague Marines. Rather than sticking with the green that they give you, kind of change it to almost like a sea foam mint off colour. Number 13, terrain. This was the first piece of terrain that actually got me to like really appreciate the models. It came with containers, barrels. I'm not really a fan of painting the storm bolters on top. It just looks off. But this was painted in minutes, sponge painted all the way. Next, number 15, we have the Biologist Putrefier. I did contest that they should have probably supplied you with more paint colours first before giving you this model, but tactically within the game this model does so much work that in the missions they give you, it's kind of the balancer, so again it works really well. Conquest issue number 16. This was the Ultramarines reinforcements. So we had the Hellblasters, more Primaries Intercessors, and an Interceptor. You can see that I've taken the base off the Interceptor, the standing flying model. It leaves the Marine facing downwards and it doesn't look quite right. So it's roughly the same height, it's adjustable and that's steel wire. I put a magnet on the back and it holds. There was a lot in that magazine. Okay, issue number 17, more terrain. I didn't care, I just had more fun. Simple, used up the ultramarine blue because I wasn't using it. Cover everything, sponge on some silver, edge highlight, a little touch of gold, cleaner version of a container. On the table within minutes. Beautiful. Issue 19, Lord Felthis and his tainted cohort. I do have a video showing these models off more, but all I can say is again, like, it was just too much fun. I honestly don't believe I would have gone out and bought these Death Guard models on their own, or even started a Death Guard army without this magazine. But now I've taken that time, I've got myself codex and additional items for them. I haven't got the dice yet. But I really do enjoy them, the mechanics of how they work and how they function. Issue number 20, more terrain. And yes, terrain came in a really quick succession. But this is when they introduced a new battle mat as well. So they were trying to fulfill all the items which were laid out on the battle map. So that part of the story was done, because this magazine has an ongoing narrative. But this technique, sponge painted the same way, with the cheapest yellow. Issue 21, we come back with more Space Ninjas. One of the things that kind of irks me about the magazine, again the models are fine, is just that they don't supply any decals, any transfer sheets, and just to have one or two would be really nice to help bring these models out. Issue 23, Scatter Terrain. Again, I never would have bought this, but seeing it's there, it's really easy to paint. It was already brown anyway. Get a little bit of orange, rust up the colours, little touch of silver with a sponge, and within 5 minutes, if you've got a hairdryer, it's done. Issue 24 and 25 were the first and second parts of the Primaris Dreadnought. I have a video based on this and I kind of released it early. I should have held on to it in the sense of it was early for the run, but I really do love the model and I really enjoy just building it. Issue 27 and issue 28, and that was the Chaos Space Marine Rhino. Now, my daughter sponge painted this. It took minutes again. I just added in one or two details. She did a fantastic job, and yeah, I just appreciate the fact that they kind of put the bulk of the bit in the first issue. I'm not too keen on the sprues being the second issue. For the upgrades, issue number 29, this was probably one of the most major ones, which people getting their hand or trying to get their hands on, because if you were playing these as Blood Angels, there is a secret Primaris lieutenant there. If you check the index, or sorry, not the index, the codex, page 69, you'll see him, that guy there on the right. But we've got Captain, Interceptor, and a Hellblaster Sergeant. Issue 30, a lot of terrain. And this was just painted up the same way as before. So much terrain, the camera's got out of focus. And barely fit it all on there. But as you can see, quick paint, get it on the table, and you know, keep playing. As I always say, terrain has just totally changed my mind and how it works. You can always add more details there. You can see the pipes I've just picked out 1 or 2. I might come back in there at a later point and paint some of the screens. Now, issues without any models, so issue number 7, number 14, let's see if I can remember, what's the other ones? Number 18, etc. They came with washes, brushes and extra pieces, so it wasn't that there was nothing there, so they always came with a little something, but I didn't include them in the main video because obviously I'm utilising those items, and you know, it'd be strange me just showing you a single brush. I leave my strangeness for other videos. So bringing it all together, you can see what we've gained. So we have about 1,000 points here for the first 30 issues for the Space Marines, the Astartes army, and also 1,000 points for the Death Guard. And that's if you utilize the Blood Angel as a lieutenant, that model that I mentioned earlier. Almost dropped the camera there. I thought I'd leave it in because it happened. But they've done really well overall, and I think it is actually quite fulfilling with the terrain. You'll easily have half a board there to utilise and use and play with. I think they did a good job. Now I will repeat, as I've said this before, go and play the missions. The missions are absolutely amazing with the characters, and use them as recommended. It's like you get more out of each model and out of the game overall. Here's your Death Guard army. Again, it's about 1,000 points. As you can see there, it's all come together nicely. And you kind of get a feel for how grand the armies are and how they're coming together. And this battle is building up in a real narrative way, and you get to be part of that as you play along. I wondered if this will work well with any other army, and if you think it would do, let me know. But don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and send your pictures so they could be posted up for the next community project. I've enjoyed my time. I hope you would have enjoyed your time. This has been Spekd. PC out.